Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning. And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Oh, my damn. Boy, we got some things we got to talk about today or tonight. We got some things to talk about, everybody. Holy crap, this is interesting. And I can see why the internet is percolating. At least the true crime streets are percolating like crazy right now. Yes. And everyone's wondering, what the F is going on? Real talk. We got questions. We have discussions that we need to have. And like I said, the true crime streets be percolating. Okay? So before we get into everything, we're going to get into this conversation very quickly, okay? Because we got some paperwork to look into. We got documents. We got things to talk about. I'll explain here in just a minute. So do me a solid. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. All right? I know a lot of people are covering this. It's not only just one content creator that's covering this right now, okay? But your boy is working hard out here in these streets, okay? Taking some time out of my very busy schedule to give you guys the information and the discussion that you need today. So hit that like button down below, dag nabbit. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, make sure you're following me on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. Just hit the follow button over there, okay? I post a lot of things over there too. Hit that subscribe button here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel. Make sure you're subscribed over there too. The Pascal Show Clips. That's what the second channel is called. The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed, please, and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. Okay. Enough of the stuff. Enough of the fun, because now it's time to get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, guys. Some really crazy stuff is going on right now. Like I said, the internet, at least in the side of the true crime realm, is really percolating. People are really starting to talk about this specific thing that is going on right now. First and foremost, if you guys have been living under a rock, there is a man by the name of Bryan Kohberger. I call him Coco from time to time. All right. Yes, Coco. He has been alleged of taking the life of 4 Idaho students or 4 University of Idaho students. This whole thing has been called the Idaho 4 unalivings. You know, it's the Idaho 4 M's. But you know, these platforms don't like when you say the M word or anything of that has to do with M. Okay. What's very interesting is, of course, there's been a lot of questions circulating around the day that these individuals were found. People have been questioning about what was going on with Dylan and Bethany, the other surviving roommates in this home, the day of November 13th, 2022. A lot of people are going and asking a lot of questions. You can say red rum. We could say red rum, but that seems, I'm weird. And I have all these weird code words because I have to have these code words. So why not? Let's get funky. Okay. Let's get creative. You know, I feel a little squirrely right now. So we'll just say red rum. Okay. But nonetheless, everyone is wanting to know. Everyone's been wanting to know so badly. There's been a lot of rumors. There's been a lot of people saying things that aren't really, that have been speculation. We don't know if the sources of this information has been true or not. There's been a lot of crazy speculation and rumors of flying out the gate. All right. There have been countless hours of content revolving around what did the kids do The following morning, when they found out that these four lost their life, what did they do? And again, this is weird. And we're going to get straight into it. We have the 911 call transcript, and we also have the text messages between Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke. Oh, this is crazy. All right. So we're going to get straight into it because, there's no time like the present. And I know a lot of people are wondering what the F is going on here. The paperwork has been unsealed. Surely there are things that are redacted. Let's keep it real. But there are things in here that just don't make no sense. They just don't. So we're going to get into first, okay? First, the 911 call. And then we're going to look at the text messages. Both are very interesting. Now, I want to preface this really quick before we get into the 911 calls, before we go into the text messages and all that, okay? In no way, shape, or form am I alluding to anything, putting blame on any of these victims, the survivors, none at all. But there are going to be questions that are going to pop up that I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be asking. So please understand, I'm not attacking any of these people. I'm just asking the questions because I am an inquisitive mother lover. Just like you. That's why you're here on the show. That's why you're watching this and interested to see what is being said in this 911 transcript and what is being said in the text messages. It is weird. I will warn you. It is weird. It don't make no sense to a certain extent. That's all I'm going to say. Let's get into it, shall we? Now, this is the paperwork revolving around the 911 call. And of course, there are other things that we will be talking about. Okay, we will touch on a few other things that were talked about, that I talked about in pop-up videos on this main channel revolving around Bryan Kohberger, because there are two different things that were very interesting. I will give you a little taste, all right? Just a little taste. First, that he shouldn't pay the ultimate price because he is autistic. The other thing, 3 different DNA of unknown people found under one of the victim's nails. Very interesting stuff. Now, if you haven't seen those videos, I highly recommend you guys go and checking them out. There will be a lot of pop-up type videos on this channel as well, but I will be having a lot of pop-up videos over on the secondary channel too. So make sure you have the notification bell set to all on both channels, okay? Because things are going crazy. As soon as we hear something crazy about Bryan Kohberger, something goes on with Blake Lively or Justin Baldoni, or we're keeping an eye on Dane Paulson. Okay, that missing 2-year-old boy out in Oregon. There's a lot of things that are going on, guys. That's why I have 2 different channels to make sure things are covered. Okay? So let us get into this. 911 call, which is interesting. All right. Comes down the state. This is the paperwork. Comes down the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney, and respectfully moves the court for an order in limine, allowing the state to admit the recording and transcript of the 911 call to Whitcomb on November 13th, 2022. The 911 recording was discovered as this AV such and such. Okay, I'm assuming it's a file number. Okay, and this transcript was discovered as Bates 12422 12426. Basically filing numbers. Okay. Facts. The facts pertinent to the issue raised by this motion can be found in the attached excerpts from the grand jury transcript, States Exhibit S1, the 911 call recording, States Exhibit S2, and the transcript, a 911 call, the transcript, okay, States Exhibit S3. Argument. The statements on the 911 call are hearsay, but fall within firmly rooted hearsay exceptions and should be allowed. In general, testimony that is hearsay is excludable at trial. However, there are many exceptions to this rule. Two firmly rooted exceptions are Idaho Rule of Evidence 803. I'm sorry, guys. There must be a guy with a ski mask and bushy eyebrows in my home right now, so I apologize. Okay, hold on. Howling at the moon. Howling at the moon. Stop it. Chill out. I'm reading here. Okay, let's continue on. See, they don't play. See what I'm saying? Don't at me, y'all. Don't at me. My little ankle biters will just. Okay. Let's move on though. Idaho Rule of Evidence 803, present sense impression, a statement describing or explaining an event or condition made while or immediately after the declarant perceived it. Idaho Rule of Evidence 8032, excitement utterance, a statement relating to a startling event or condition made while the declarant was under the stress of excitement that it caused, like my dogs just going crazy. Okay, yeah, they're ferocious. Don't mess with my dogs. They're ankles gone. Okay, dearly beloved, we are gathered here to celebrate the life of your ankles. You know what I'm saying? Don't play with my dogs. Moving on, the requirement of the federal version of each of these rules are best stated in U.S. versus Mitchell. There are three principal requirements which must be met before hearsay evidence may be admitted as a present sense impression. The declarant must have personally perceived the event described. The declaration must be an explanation or description of the event rather than a narration. And three, the declaration and the event described must be contemporaneous. The requirements for a hearsay statement to constitute an excited utterance are: one, a startling occasion; two, a statement relating to the circumstances of the startling occasion; three, a declarant who appears to have had opportunity to observe personally the events; and four, a statement made before there has been time to reflect and fabricate. All right. Moving on, let's just get into the transcript, okay? We don't have to go, or let's get into some more of the stuff when they're talking about the actual thing, okay? So 8 year, blah blah blah, 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 blah. Okay, okay. So here we go. In the case at bar, most of the declarations made were present sense impressions. HJ located the unresponsive body of Xana Knodel and informed Bethany and Dylan to call 911. Now, HJ, I'm trying to remember HJ. I'm trying to remember HJ's name. Somebody's got it, okay? Because, it's like sweeping out cobwebs in my brain. You see what I'm saying? But I know somebody has it. But HJ located the unresponsive body, by the way, unresponsive body of Xana Knodel, okay? And informed Bethany. Yes, Hunter, thank you. Thank you, guys. Like I said, whoops, it has been a minute. Thank you. I was like, who is that again? Yes, Hunter. Okay. So he found the body of Xana, unresponsive. Moving on, informed BF, Bethany, and Dylan to call 911, okay? EA was present at the time. All declarants personally perceived the event, i.e. Knodel unresponsive. The majority of the declarations were describing to dispatcher Carolina Calvin what they were perceiving, i.e. present tense impressions. So what they saw is what they told the 911 dispatcher, Carolina Calvin, okay? Those statements relate to Knodel being passed out and not waking up. The declarations were made immediately after Hunter discovered Knodel's body. Interesting. I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to repeat it again in a second. Why did they think that she was just unconscious? Why didn't they think that she was actually unalived? You see what I'm saying? Make that make sense. Why would they not know that she ain't on this planet anymore? You got to remember, this was a very gruesome scene. How would they not know that she's not alive? That's a little bit weird, don't you think? I mean, and of course, let's not forget this is early in the morning. These guys could still be under the influence as well. They could still be, a little, they could be a little zooted. That's possible too. But, wouldn't you say, oh my God, you know what I mean? This was a gruesome scene. Yeah, the sides of the house were literally leaking red. This was red rum everywhere. Red rum everywhere. So what's going on with this, right? That seems a little weird. Now, again, I'm just asking the questions. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. So like I said, don't at me. I'm just asking the questions that I think a lot of people are asking, especially when they say she's unresponsive. And unresponsive could mean so many different things. But the fact that they said that she's, we're going to get to the transcript. Okay, let's continue. Some declarations made would also be considered excited utterances. Sure, that they're like, oh my God, she's not responding. She's not responding. And they're not computing in their minds that this person could be unalive, right? That's a possibility. That is. You got to leave that on the table for sure. But it seems a bit weird to say unresponsive, right? But let's continue. Those statements include, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. As well as the heaving, breathing, and crying that can be heard throughout the call. Of course, they're freaking out. Would you expect them to just be like, yeah, they're right here. Oh my, she is not responsive anymore. This is not Siri talking. This is not AI. These are people, right? So of course there's going to be heaving and breathing and crying while this 911 call is going on. I'm sure it's devastating to hear it, I'm sure. So the declarants were responding to a startling occasion discovery of unresponsive roommate. So she was unresponsive. The statement regarding a person being in the home is in direct response to why Kernodle might have passed out or might be passed out. Passed out and unalive are two drastically different things, though. Okay? All statements are made while the declarants are processing what is happening and were made before an opportunity to reflect and fabricate why Kernodle is unconscious. Clearly, the statements of Bethany, Dylan, EA, and HJ, and the dispatcher, Carolina, Calvin, fall within the hearsay rule exceptions. Judge, okay, has already ruled that the 911 call is not hearsay, i.e., not offered for the truth of the matter asserted. And even if deemed hearsay, the exceptions for present tense, impression, and excited utterance apply. On August 23rd, 2023, defendant moved to dismiss the grand jury indictment. On one basis for that motion was that the 911 call was, quote unquote, improperly admitted hearsay, cumulative, irrelevant, and an improper attempt to bolster witness testimony. In response, Judge held as follows. Further, even if the 911 call is hearsay, the exceptions for present sense impression and excited utterance apply as the statements made by the callers, i.e. the survivor roommates, HJ, and another friend who had arrived, were made immediately after HJ discovered Miss Kernodle's remains or her body and instructed the roommates to call 911. Okay, let's see. The rationale justifying the present sense impression exception is, quote unquote, that the immediacy of the statement offers no opportunity for fabrication. So in other words, if I'm getting this correct, they were saying because he found her, then he said, "Hey, Bethany, call 911 right now." There was no time in between to be like, "Hey, let's get our story straight." So there's no room for fabrication because they were calling immediately to be like, "She's not responsive. What the hell's going on here?" The other thing I would say too, before we even get into because I'm sure we're going to be getting into the transcript here in a second, make it make sense that they didn't even see Ethan. No one saw Ethan. So they went upstairs, saw Xana, and they didn't even bother to go into the room to maybe see if Ethan was around. Now, he could be hidden behind the door. Like I said, we don't really know the layout. We've heard stories, right? We've heard stories, but we haven't heard the whole thing. We've heard theories, but we haven't heard the whole layout yet. So I wonder, was he behind the door? Because again, there is that story that she was in the hallway right before her bedroom door. And maybe he was behind that very door. And so, yeah, I get it. You see Xana on the floor, you're calling 911. But it's interesting that you're not, maybe you're not stepping over or trying to look around just to be like, wait a second, where's Ethan at? Where's my boy E at? Where's he at? Maybe. You remember that there was like a partial, and also I'm dusting out a lot of cobwebs, okay? It's been years since we've really talked about this whole case, okay? And back in the day, we were talking about this ad nauseum. But one thing I am kind of curious about, and rightfully so, we were talking about it ad nauseum. I mean, this was the biggest crime and the biggest case ever, right? And it still is. But didn't they find a partial footprint of a Vans shoe on the stairs or somewhere near the hallway as well? Does anybody remember that? So, and I don't think it was from one of them, I don't think it was from Brian Koberger. That could have been from one of the students, one of the kids. Could have been from HJ Hunter. Maybe trying to see if everyone's okay. Especially when you're thinking of people and it's a crime scene and you're not thinking about a crime scene. You're going, oh my God, my friend. What happened to my friend? Xana, wake up. You know what I mean? But at the same time, aren't you seeing, I'm going to say it again. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to say it a lot over these documents on the 911 call. Aren't you noticing that there's a whole bunch of red everywhere, though? That there's red everywhere. This is a gruesome, gruesome scene, guys. This is not just like she's just sitting there cold. She's been viciously attacked. Like I said, it seems odd. But again, let's continue. Sealed order denying motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of biased grand jury. Inadmissible evidence, lack of sufficient evidence, and prosecutorial misconduct. Okay. Regarding the emotion in the callers' voices, Judge further held that the evidence was relevant as to why law enforcement was sent to 1122 King Road on the 13th of November of 2022, as opposed to just EMS when the call was for an unconscious individual. This testimony was deemed relevant to the effect it had on dispatcher Calvin and was not cumulative of Officer Nunez' testimony. Very interesting. The statements made on the 911 call are admissible regardless of whether or not witnesses testify. So under IRE 803, present sense impressions and excited utterances are admissible whether or not the declarant is available as a witness. Interesting. Any statement found outside of the above exceptions to hearsay are non-testimonial for purposes of a Crawford analysis. Further, even if somehow deemed testimonial, the confrontation clause of the Sixth Amendment does not bar their admission. Finally, we reiterate that when the declarant appears for a cross-examination at trial, the confrontation clause places no constraints at all on the use of his prior testimonial statements. See California versus Green, blah, blah, blah. It is therefore relevant that the reliability of some out-of-court statements cannot be replicated, even if the declarant testifies to the same matters in court. The clause does not bar admission of a statement so long as the declarant is present at trial to defend or explain it. Crawford versus Washington, the state submits if any of the declarations made are deemed testimonial. Each of the declarations will testify at trial. So they can still use them to walk in and speak and talk about everything. Even if they've been heard on these 911 calls, they are still being used, or they still will be able to testify in this trial. And I'm sure they're all going to testify, for sure. I mean, it'd be ridiculous not to have them testify, okay? Based on above-cited authority, the state respectfully pays the court approval in line of the admission of recordings and transcripts of the 911 call to Whitcomb on November 13th, 2023, immediately following the discovery of Xana Kernodle unresponsive at 1122 King Road. So, transcript, grand jury transcript, sealed. So, audio file on thumb drive, hand delivered separately, sealed. Okay, 911 call, okay? Dispatch, man, woman 1, man 1, man 2, man 3, woman 1, woman 1. Or sorry, woman 1, man. So this is going to be interesting. Let's take a look at this. So weird. Okay, this is a very interesting way of doing it, but let's take a look at this. And I appreciate all y'all for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Crush it, please. Hit that like button, please and thank you. Hit that like button. All right. Your boy's working hard out here in these streets to give you guys the information and the conversation that you need for the night. This is wild stuff. Please don't forget to subscribe. It's time to rock and roll, babies. It is time to rock and roll. One more thing. Hold on real quick. Rook, what up, man? Thank you so much for being a member for the past over a year. Thank you. Almost a year and a half. I appreciate it. Lots of love to everyone. Yes, same to you, brother. Lots of love to every single last one, y'all. Okay, let's get into this. This is interesting. So 911 location of your emergency. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. We have, what's the address of the emergency? 1122. No, don't. What's the rest of the address? Oh, Kings Road. Okay. And is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Can you repeat the address and make sure I have it right? I'll talk to you guys. So this is another person. A1 is woman 1. Okay. I'll talk to you guys. Where we live at the right. So we're next to them. Interesting. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address 1122 King Road. What's the phone number that you're calling from? And then the girl, this woman, says, what's your phone number? And I'm assuming to Bethany or to Dylan. So they do the number, what's the rest? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. No, we saw, okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi. Another person. So let me just repeat that. I'm sorry we're going to be going back and forth through this because I wish they would have said like the names or something next to it would make more sense, right? Because now you kind of have to go back to the table of contents to understand the freaking thing, right? But what's interesting is you have A and A1, so that is woman and woman one having a conversation, right? Yeah, A and A1. So this is so odd. So it's a house. This, this is interesting. Okay. So this says, okay, so she says, so the dispatcher, which is Carolina, says, tell me exactly what's going on. And they say, one of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Then somebody else in the background, I'm assuming either Dylan or Bethany, say, I'm assuming it's Dylan. But Dylan is saying, no, 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 we saw. And then the dispatcher at that same time, okay. Then the girl that's on the phone, which is, I'm assuming, a friend, okay, says, oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Then, of course, I'm assuming Dylan picked up the phone, grabbed the phone, or it could be Bethany. Grab the phone. And then they say, are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What's going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know. But pretty much at 4 a.m., okay, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone is passed out, can you find that out? Why do they say that that Xana Kernodle is passed out? How could they not see that she is gone? But at the same time, I can understand shock that they can't even believe that their friend is gone, right? But if you're seeing red everywhere, it's just interesting that she was passed out because she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. But they found her in the hallway, right? Let's continue on though. And this is chaos. And I kind of wish that this dispatcher, and I understand the dispatcher's doing her job, but I kind of wish the dispatcher was like, just heard her say what she had to say, because she says, but pretty much at 4 a.m., and it's like she's about to say something, but she's like, no, 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 I don't want to hear that. I need to know what's going on right now. If someone's passed out, can you find that out, please? Right? Is this person really passed out? Moving on. Yeah, I'll come. I'll come. Come on. We got to go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. She's passed out. What's wrong? Dispatching Moscow law ambulance for she's not waking up. Unconsciousness. 1122 King Road. 70 is en route. That's another dispatcher, I'm assuming, that responded back, right? Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way. Okay. Maybe unintelligible, 1122 King Road, all ambulance respond for unconsciousness, 1122 King Road. I copy. Unintelligible, 58. Multiple RPs on the phone advised saying the roommate on scene is passed out and not waking up. Believe she got drunk last night and unintelligible about a male being in the room with them. Unintelligible, being around. Interesting. That one I copy about 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get further. Copy. Yeah. It's Ethan. It's even. Sorry, it's Evan. It's Evan. Okay. How old is she? She's 20. 20, you said? Yes, 20. Here, do you want to talk to him? Okay. Hello? Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people. Okay, sorry. They just gave me the phone. Is she breathing? Hello? Is she breathing? No. Okay. Unintelligible, en route. Bethany or Dylan, I need you to to talking to them, okay? I can't talk to them. Interesting. I need you to talk to them. Okay, hello? Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. Okay. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Units responding, RPs advising. Unintelligible. The patient is not conscious, not breathing. Unintelligible. And this is from one of the girls. Like I said, one of the girls is talking. Maybe Dylan. Maybe Bethany. Don't know yet. Okay, if there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. We don't have one. Hold on. A is woman. Interesting. Maybe she's just freaking out and she doesn't understand what the just woman. Okay. This is very odd. This is when I wish we had the audio so we could just get a better understanding. But again, it would be a lot easier if they just said, you know what I mean? Dylan, Bethany, such and such, such and such. But we don't have that, right? Unconscious, not breathing. Do you have a defibrillator? This other person, I'm assuming another dispatcher, says, yep. Then a woman says, yes, we have one. But are you talking to the officer? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna let you go since he's there with you and can help you. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay, Moscow 46 out. Copy 13. I think we have a homicide. Moscow engine 30 is en route. 1370 unintelligible. 107 I relate it. This transcript has been reviewed with the audio recording submitted, and it is an accurate transcription. Very interesting. What the hell did I just read? Okay. What the hell did I just read? Because again, there are so many different people talking all at the same time. And then you have A, which is a woman, still talking. And then it's almost like I don't know. It's very interesting. Okay. But that's very odd. But one thing is for sure, because we're going to be getting into the text messages, and the text messages are weird too. Okay. Explain to me how they think that she's unconscious when this is a gruesome scene. I know I said it 15 times over, but I have to repeat it again. Make it make sense, guys, because something about this doesn't seem to make sense right now. How could they sit there and say, yeah, she's drunk. She was drunk and she's passed out. Now, let's just put in a factor. There very well could be, okay? There very well could be a factor of just pure unadulterated shock. Let's put that in there. These are young kids. They were raging the night before, kicking it, doing what they do because it's college. Okay? They're enjoying college. It's a weekend. They're kicking it. They could still be buzzing from the night before. But I'm just saying, though, if you see someone and there's red all over the place, you're not sitting there going, you're passed out. I'm sorry. Hail to the no. You're not doing that. Doesn't matter how drunk you are. Doesn't matter how zooted you are. How, high you are. It doesn't matter. Even someone who is so gone will know the difference between life and death. So it doesn't make any sense unless it's just shock. Unless it's just pure shock. But again, what's computing in my mind? Because here's the thing. Look, we just got to look at this piece one more time. Okay. They say she's passed out, right? They talk about the number. They say one of the roommates who's passed out, she was drunk last night and she's not waking up, right? But then they go, okay, can you go and check to see if she's breathing right now, right? So they say, yeah, I'll come. Come on, let's go. We gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? So in other words, they haven't even understandably, they haven't touched her. It seems like in the very beginning when they called 911. But then they go over and they're like, yeah, no. Yeah, come on. And it seems like woman is telling the friends, we're going to all go check on her. We're all going to go together and we're going to check on her to make sure she's breathing. Because I'm sure, let's be real, you're 19 years old. You're probably scared ishless to walk over to anybody that could potentially be gone and mess with a body that's not alive anymore, potentially, right? So they're probably scared out their wits, especially when they say, oh yeah, there was a guy here at 4:00 in the morning. Yeah, there was somebody here, some dude. This is scary. What's going on here, right? So this is very weird. This is weird. Sorry, guys. Sorry, not sorry. This is weird. No, this is weird. Yep, this is weird. It's official. This is weird. Okay? This is weird. Because at face value, you can see that she has been unalived. I'm sure you could see that from space. It's so obvious. And the fact that they are sitting here saying, oh, no, she's passed out. She was kicking it last night. She's just drunk. That's all. Yeah, she's drunk. Huh? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't. This is not like some scene from some really messed up movie like Seven or something like that, where her body was found, but all of her blood was drained from her body or something like that, right? Without a trace, but her body was there. You know what I mean? This is not one of those kind of true crime movies that you just like explain how she was found in this position and all the blood gone from her body, but she was found in the room without a trace, not one drop of red anywhere in the room. That's the complete opposite of what happened. This place was so bad, it was leaking out the side of the house. That's how gruesome these scenes were. So how could they not see that and instantly say, oh, damn. And it's not like it's Halloween. Halloween's over. It's been over for weeks at that point. So, and it's not like they were, playing a joke, because that's why it's not like Xana was playing a practical joke or something like that. That's why they called 911, because she's unresponsive, but they're not saying she gone. They're saying she's unresponsive. And then that's when they say, yeah, we saw a guy at 4 a.m. Yeah. I'll repeat it again. It just doesn't make, like I said, right here. Okay. They said it a couple times, actually. And one of the girls, Dylan or Bethany, were very quick, understandably, to be like, yeah, there was somebody was here. Okay. Where is it? Something happened in the house. We don't know. We don't know what. We have, what's your address? Blah, blah, blah. House or an apartment. It's a house. Nah. What's your phone number? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, and saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. What's going on currently? Okay. And of course, the girl is saying, can I just tell you what happened? Pretty much. Can I just tell you what happened? Pretty much. What's going on currently? She's like, I don't want to hear all that. I want to know what's going on right now. Is someone passed out right now? I don't know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. and she's about to tell the rest of the story. And then she's like, okay, dispatch, which I understand, dispatch is doing their job. Hey, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone is passed out, can you find out? And then, of course, they're like, yeah, come on, guys. We're going to go and check this out. Come on. We're going to go check on Xana. Come on. Yeah, let's go. We got to go check. But we have to. Because somebody must have been like, I don't want to go there. I don't. Why do we have to? I'm staying right here. No, but we have to. We got to go check. Right? Is she passed out? She's passed out. Wait, what's wrong? Oh, maybe she's not. Oh, she's not waking up. She's unconscious. Right? It's like I said, it's just so freaking weird, y'all. This one's weird. I'm going to keep it a beam. This one's weird. Okay? This one's definitely weird. Most definitely weird. Now I saw in the chat. Let me just make sure I see that. What are your thoughts on this transcript? It's very odd. Okay? It's very odd. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it. If it's still here? And yeah, it's sus. It's a little sus. And I know somebody just said, so everyone's shocked and that's it? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everyone's definitely shocked, but it just seems weird that they all are saying, oh yeah, she's passed out. She's unresponsive. That is a little weird. With all due respect, it is a little weird. Purette, excuse me. Thank you so much. They just stated that the audio was released at the end of that paper. So where is that? I'd like to know. Where is that? If they have 911 audio, I would love to see that. And 1980 Nicoletta, I agree. The dispatcher is doing the best that she can. She's doing her job. She's going, hey, I need to know exactly what's going on right now. That's what the detectives and the police are for. You give your statements to them. I just need to know what's going on right now so we can get people out there, the right people out there to save your friend. That's it, right? But I agree. 911 is doing their job. Yes, of course. In a perfect world, I'd love to hear her finish saying like, yeah, there was somebody there. You know what I mean? 4 a.m., bushy eyebrows, ski mask, all that stuff, right? But okay. All right. Yeah, like I said, I'm not knocking 911. Dispatchers doing their doggone job. And shout out to them for doing the damn job. It's like, yo, save that information for the detectives or for the police when they show up. Wait for them. Hold up. I need to know what's going on with your friend. I'm not a detective. I'm not the police. I'm trying to get them to you, though. Sup, though. Tell me what the happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's a happening, right? Right now. Is she alive? Is she breathing? We need to know that now so we can save your friend. Save the details for the police when they get there, right? So good on them for doing and sticking to the plan. Now, moving on, because we also now have text messages. Text messages, guys, between Dylan and Bethany. This is going to be very interesting, guys. Okay? Get ready for it. Let's rock and roll. Again, hold on. Grace Sky, thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for being a member for the past 20 months. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. And all the members, shout out to all y'all members. I appreciate you. Okay? Not only is there red everywhere, the smell of red would be in the air. You're not wrong. Wouldn't it be? Yeah, there would be definitely, especially that much. The math ain't mathing. Yeah, the math is definitely not mathing right now. In my personal opinion, the math is definitely not mathing at all. It seems a little bit weird. Now, do I think that, does this mean something sinister happened with the students? No, I wouldn't say that, but it is weird. There is some serious questionable stuff that's going on here that I think we all want to know what's going on. But the text messages don't make the situation any better, no. So let's go and take a look at this. Oh, the plot just keeps on getting thicker than a snicker. Do me a favor, though, okay? I'm sorry, but, we got, I'm trying to grow this channel, man. We trying to get out here, though. So hit that like button down below. It helps the show get out there. Okay. We want people hip to this show. All right. People who, love them some true crime, some pop culture, a little bit of political in there too. All right. And world news as well. Anything that's big, trending, that's going on, all that stuff. We talk about that right here on this show. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button, of course. And of course, make sure you subscribe. All right. But let's get into this. All right. Let's get the likes. Can we get the likes to like 800? I know that's a very big ask. Okay. Damn, that's a big ask. But still, that'd be really appreciated. Okay. 800 likes. Let's go. All right. Helps the show. Let's continue. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and respectfully moves the court for an order in Lemine allowing the state to admit the text messages of Dylan on November 13th, 2022, and the testimony from Dylan and Bethany regarding their conversations with each other on the 13th of November. The phone records were discovered on the hard drive. Dylan, I guess her iPhone extraction, provided on April 5th, 2023, and the state's Exhibit 18 from the grand jury record, State's Exhibit S1. Hold on, sorry guys. State Exhibit S1 attached. New ink and new font. Ooh. The testimony of DM and BF was provided to the defense as part of the grand jury record. State's Exhibit S2 and State Exhibits S3 attached. Standard admissibility. In general, testimony that is hearsay is excludable at trial. Okay. However, there are exceptions to this rule, in which we already talked about this part. Okay, about the excited utterance, the present sense impression, which we just read about in the other one. The requirements of the federal version of the present sense impression and excited utterance are best stated in this particular example of this case. Okay. We're going to move forward though. Okay. Because there's a lot of just legal jargon, if you will. So argument. Dylan's phone records obtained in Exhibit S1 for November 13th and Bethany's testimony contained in Exhibit S2 as to what DM Dylan told her should be allowed at trial. In the case at bar, starting on November 13th, 2022, at 2:10, Dylan sends a text message, 2:10 a.m., if I'm correct. Or is it 2:10 a.m.? I'm assuming it's 2:10 a.m. Right? Or would it be 2:10 in the afternoon? Moving on, let's just get into this, okay? DM sends a text message to EG, the Uber driver, to inquire if he is driving. The state submits this text message exchange is not hearsay because it will not be offered for the truth of the matter asserted. Okay, EG's driving status. Yeah, it's AM, right? Okay, this is AM. That's interesting. So this is before the chaos, before the tragedy. Instead, it would be offered to show a timeline for the night, i.e., Dylan was awake and texting at 2 o'clock in the morning, at 2:10 in the morning. All right. So this shows that she was awake at that time. From 4:19 a.m. to 4:21 a.m., Dylan attempts to call Bethany, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan. All calls unanswered. Interesting. The records of these calls are not hearsay, as they each do not meet the definition of a statement. oral assertion, written assertion, or nonverbal conduct intended as an assertion under IRE 801A. So, this is some text messages between Dylan and Bethany between 4:22 a.m. to 4:24 a.m. This is what they send back and forth. So, Dylan to Bethany. No one is answering. Dylan again. I'm really confused right now. Dylan to Gonzalez. Kaylee. Again to Kaylee. What's going on? Bethany to Dylan. Yeah, dude, what the F? Bethany to Dylan. Xana was wearing all black. Dylan to Bethany. I'm freaking out right now. Dylan to Bethany. No, it's like ski mask almost. Bethany to Dylan. Shut the F up. Again, Bethany to Dylan. Actually. Interesting. Okay. You know how kids talk. This is very interesting. We gonna look. We're gonna analyze the hell out of this for a second here in a minute. The what? Okay, Dylan to Bethany, like he had something over his head, or something over for his head, and little in mouth. That was what Dylan said. Dylan again. Bethany, I'm not kidding. I think she's saying, I am so freaked out. Then Bethany to Dylan, so am I. Dylan to Bethany, my phone is going to die. F. Bethany to Dylan, come to my room. Bethany to Dylan, run. Bethany to Dylan, down here. Hold on. Okay, remember, this is all that happened. Okay, and then this is the okay, hold on. Okay, let's talk about this, ladies and germs. What is going on? Okay, I got that out of my system. I'm sorry. Loud noises. So Dylan was calling people. She called all the friends. Understandably, you hear a bunch of noise. She saw a person in all black, bushy eyebrows, male, all that stuff, right? That's what she claims. So she calls all these people. That's when she goes and texts Bethany, who is only responding in text messages, allegedly, and saying, no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Then she sends the text message to Kaylee like, hey, Kaylee, what's going on? Then Bethany to Dylan says, yeah, dude, what the F? Then again, she says, Xana is wearing all black. Xana is wearing all black. This is what Bethany says. Xana was wearing all black. Then Dylan to Bethany says, I'm freaking out right now. Dylan again, no, it's like ski mask almost. Then Bethany says, shut the F up. Actually, like really, shut the F up. Really? Right? Dylan to Bethany, like he had something over his, like he had something over his head, over for his head, right? And little, I don't know, and little in mouth? I don't know what that is. And little in the mouth? I don't know. Bethany again to, Dylan to Bethany again. Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. And of course, you can see she's freaked out even in the text messages. She's so frantic trying to send the text messages that she's not even, spell check ain't even spell checking. She's just frantically typing because she's scared. And I totally get that. I'd be freaking out too, right? So Bethany says, so am I. Like, I agree, baby. Damn, right? Dylan again. My phone's about to die. F. Bethany says, come to my room. Run down here. So my understanding is, remember, she saw a person in all black. Dylan did, okay? Saw somebody in all black. She saw somebody in all black, ski mask, bushy eyebrows, right? She said she was in a frozen shock phase. Wow, I can't believe I still remember that. Remember, she had frozen shock phase. She was frozen shock. Okay? She could not move. She was so terrified. Her world was so rocked. She could not leave the room. So I'm wondering if she did if she actually did leave the room. The other part too is they clearly had a phone call. There is a phone call that they had. They had to have. Because she's talking to Bethany, basically saying, yeah, I called the other girls and no one's answering. They must have had a phone call before these text messages started. Did you hear that? Is somebody in the house? Or she said, oh my God, there's a guy in the house. He's wearing all black and I'm freaking out, man. I don't know if that was, I don't know. Could that be a guy? I don't know. And then Bethany says to Dylan, who claims to have seen someone that looked a lot like Brian Koberger in a ski mask. Bethany almost seems like she's saying in a way like it's okay, or maybe you saw things. Maybe it was just Xana. She was wearing all black. Xana was wearing all black. So maybe you saw Xana. Maybe that's what you saw. Right? And then Dylan's like, I'm freaking out right now, man. Right? And then she's like, no. It wasn't Xana. No, it's like a ski mask almost. Like this person had something over his head. And that's when Bethany has the realization, oh my God, shut the F up, actually. And that's when she's like, yeah, like he had something over his head and like a little, like an opening in his mouth type of thing. And she's like, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out right now. I'm freaking out. And then that's when Bethany's like, yeah, I'm scared too. Now I'm freaking out. Because I thought you were talking about Xana. Xana was wearing all black before she left tonight. See what I'm saying? Then she's like, no, come to my room, run down here, like get your butt down here as soon as possible, right? So now I'm wondering, did she really stay in that room all night? Or did she actually run down to Bethany's room? And then could she have seen other things there, right? That's a possibility. Could she have seen the crime? Or at least seen Xana's, body or something of that sort before she ran downstairs? Possibly. But Bethany's like, get your butt down here because I'm scared. Now you're making me freak out. It wasn't Xana. It was a dude in all black wearing a ski mask. Oh, shut the F up. Are you serious? You see what I'm saying? It is a weird text message, but it sounds like they must have had a phone call before. And then she followed up with the text messages saying, they're not picking up. I'm sending a text message to Kaylee. Kaylee ain't picking up. What the hell's going on? Right? All the above declarations are present sense impressions and excited utterances. This is supported by DM, a grand jury's testimony where she indicates she just witnessed a startling event, heard noises in residence, and saw an unknown male in the residence. The declarations indicate both Bethany and Dylan are trying to make sense of the startling event contemporaneously. I don't know. I can't say that word right now. Or immediately following, like immediately right then, or immediately following the startling event. Okay. No time for reflection or fabrication. In other words, again, no time to make this stuff up. They didn't make this stuff up. This all happened in real time when the bad things were happening. They were freaking out and they wanted to know what the hell was going on. Okay. Then they say CDM's grand jury testimony attached as Exhibit S3, which we do not. That was redacted, if I'm correct, when we looked at it before in the 911 call transcript. Okay. So at 4:24 a.m., DM Dylan, calls Ethan Chapin. Call, of course, unanswered. This phone record, like the other records of calls, is not a statement pursuant to IRE 801A. Dylan and Bethany continued to text. At 4:24 a.m., Dylan texts Bethany, "I'm screwed though." Or I guess she's saying screwed. "I'm screwed though." This is what Bethany says. And Bethany responds at 4:25 a.m. "Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone." Again, both statements are admissible as present sense impressions and excited utterances as they are describing an event or their state of mind and are spontaneous reactions to that event rather than the result of a reflective thought. So in other words, if she's like, she might have been saying, "I'm scared." She might have been trying to say, "I'm scared though." And then, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. Because remember, she said, "Get your butt down here, run down here now," or "Run here, run now down here." Then, of course, she's like, "I'm still scared. Okay, I'd rather be with you than be alone. You know, we're better as a team than separate." Has anybody seen every typical horror movie? You don't walk away alone, right? You're better as a team. So, of course, she's sitting there going like, "No, I'm really scared." "Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. So why don't you get your ass down here, right? This guy could still be in the house." Okay, let's move on. At 4:27 a.m., Dylan calls Gonzalez. Of course, a phone call that's unanswered. And then at 4:28, DM calls Kernodle. Phone call unanswered. These are not statements pursuant to IRE 801, A. All right. At 4:32 a.m., Dylan sends text messages to Gonzalez stating, "Please answer." This statement is a present sense impression, shows Dylan's perception of events and an excited utterance, spontaneous reaction to that event rather than the result of a reflective thought. In other words, she is seeing what's going on. She feels that something bad is going on. She's freaking out, and she's just trying to figure out if her friends are okay. So she's sending out text messages, and of course, she is scared ishless. She is scared, so scared she can't even move a muscle. She is stuck in that room. Her phone's about to die. She's sending out as many text messages as she can to find out if the coast is clear and that maybe she's just tripping. Okay? The next morning, Dylan sends the following text messages starting at 10:23 a.m. Dylan to Gonzalez, "Please answer." Dylan to Madison Mogan or Maddie Mogan, "Are you up?" Then another text message to Gonzalez, "Are you up?" These text messages are not hearsay because they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted. Even if deemed hearsay, they are allowable as present sense impressions as they reflect a consistency and continuation of Dylan's text messages from the night prior and reflect her then perception of what was then occurring, waking up and realizing that she had not heard from her roommates. So yeah, she was frozen. She was frozen in her room. She did not want to get out of her room. She's like, "Hell to the no. I'm going to stay right here." And she passes out. She wakes up several hours later, still alive and breathing, and realizes what happened. Is this potential intruder still in this house? Let me text my friends to make sure that, maybe I am tripping. Maybe I was tripping and I'm wrong. She texts out text messages and then nothing happens. They do not respond because they've already perished. At 11:39 a.m., Dylan has text exchange with her father. Interesting. These statements are not hearsay, as they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted, but instead to show a timeline for the morning. So then, 11 minutes later, at 11:50 a.m., Dylan receives text messages from Jay stating, "Bro, this text message will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted." At 11:50 a.m., Dylan calls EA. This phone record is not a statement pursuant to IRE 801A. Dylan receives a text message from Jay at 11:51 a.m. and a vandal alert at 1:04 p.m. These text messages are not hearsay because they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted, but instead to show a timeline for the morning. So again, that's an interesting jump, but okay. 11:51, she gets a text message from Jay. I'm wondering what that text message was. Then a vandal alert, 2 hours, a little over an hour later, which is interesting. But moving on. Dylan and Bethany testimony contained in State Exhibit S2 and State Exhibit S3. The state anticipates that both Dylan and Bethany will testify at trial. I think that's a given. The state intends to ask each witness about statements made to them on November 13th, 2022. This testimony should substantively replicate the testimony they provided at the grand jury proceedings. The state submits the statements from both Dylan and Bethany to each other are allowable hearsay because they are present sense impressions and or excited utterances. Previous adjudication. Judge has previously ruled that the text messages and statements between Dylan and Bethany are present sense impressions and excited utterances, holding both the text messages and the testimony of Bethany as to what Dylan told her were admissible as exceptions to the hearsay rule. Sealed order denying motion to dismiss indictment on the grounds of biased grand jury, inadmissible evidence, lack of sufficient evidence, and prosecutorial misconduct. Okay, so her Dylan's phone records for November 13th and Bethany's testimony, all right, are allowable at trial under Crawford. Okay, so under IRE 803, present sense impressions and excited utterances are admissible whether or not the declarant is available as a witness. So they could still use this stuff whether or not they are brought and called to the stand. Any statement found outside of the above exceptions to hearsay are non-testimonial for the purposes of a Crawford analysis. Further, even if somehow deemed testimonial, the confrontation clause of the Sixth Amendment does not bar their admission. Finally, we reiterate that when the declarant appears for cross-examination at trial, the confrontation clause places no constraints at all on the use of his prior testimonial statements. It is therefore irrelevant that the reliability of some out-of-court statements cannot be replicated, even if the declarant testifies to the same matters in court. This clause does not bar admission of a statement so far as the declarant is present at trial to defend or explain it. Blah, blah, blah. State submits any of the declarations made are deemed testimonial. Both Dylan and Bethany will testify at trial anyway. So, of course, they said conclusion based on above cited authority, the state respectfully requests the court's approval to in line of the admission of text messages from Dylan and the testimony of Bethany, okay, regarding what Dylan told her on November 13th, 2022. Okay? So, and then they say exhibits redacted and sealed. This is a very interesting series of text messages. It's a very interesting, I'm just pulling up the text messages so you guys can see that again. The text messages are very wild, but they do explain something. They do explain that most definitely Dylan saw something. Dylan was freaking out. It feels to me like there was a phone conversation before these text messages started, because I don't think that Dylan and Bethany can telepathically have a conversation, right? Clearly there was a phone call that was made before no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Like, it just doesn't seem like she would be like, you know what I mean? She must have called. Bethany picked up the phone and she's like, I just saw somebody in the house, man, and I'm freaking out. Okay, yeah. We got to stay quiet because I don't know what's going on. I'm going to text you, right? But then she's calling everybody else, and no one is actually picking up the phone. The four, right? She's calling everybody. No one's picking up. And then she goes back to her text messages and sends the text message to Bethany, basically saying, starting the conversation, basically saying, yeah, no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. And then, of course, she sends a text, Kaylee, what's going on? And then Bethany responds going, yeah, dude, what the F is going on, man? Are you serious? I mean, Xana was wearing all black. And I'm freaking out right now. No, man, no. It's like a mask, a ski mask almost. You see what I'm saying? The whole dialogue is interesting. It's very odd, but it makes sense in that perspective if there was a phone call that was made before this happened. But they haven't said anything about this. They haven't said anything about a phone call between the two. You see what I'm saying? They never said anything about a phone call. We're going to go back to that for a second, because I don't see her having a conversation saying, oh, the phone records show that there was a phone call between Dylan and Bethany before this whole text message exchange happened, right? They don't say that. They say that she sent a text message to EG, the Uber driver, to inquire if he is driving, okay? The state submits this text message exchange is not hearsay, blah, blah, blah. Instead, it would be blah, 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 blah. I hate that, all that jargon. Dylan was awake texting at 2:10, okay? She was up texting this EG, talking about his driving status and whatever. And then 2 hours later, that's when she attempts to call Bethany. So she did call her. She attempted to call her. You see what I'm saying? So there must have been a conversation. Unless, and only unless, they all heard the noise. They heard a huge bang, or they heard a huge thud, or they heard a huge scuffle. And then Bethany ain't picking up the phone right now. She's scared out of her mind too. So that's why she's like, yo, no one is answering. And then I'm really confused. And it's like, yeah, dude, what the F is that? What the F is going on here? Did you hear that? What the F is going on? Sometimes you don't need a phone call to be made to understand what's really going on. If there really was a scuffle and they were going in, and they say Xana didn't, put up a fight, and you're telling me Ethan didn't put up a fight too? You're telling me that there was no screaming? You're telling me nothing in that house? It was all just silent? Bodies were found in other places. They weren't just found in their beds, gone. They were found in elsewhere. So I feel like Xana most definitely fought. There must have been some sort of scuffle. And you're hearing all this scuffling, and you're on the second and bottom floor? Or the first and bottom floor, if I'm correct? Like I said, it's been a while. Of course you're going to be like, oh my God, what the F? Yo, no one's answering, man. It's dead quiet now. It's eerily quiet in this house. Bethany, no one's answering. I'm really confused right now. Kaylee, what's going on? Bethany, yeah, dude, what the F is going on? Xana was wearing all black. I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like a ski mask almost. Shut the F up. Actually, like he had something over his face, his head, like a little over his mouth. You know what I mean? Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out right now. So am I. You see what I'm saying? So it sounds like they heard something. Okay? And then they started freaking out. And, they're all both maybe under the influence, but they just don't know what to do. They're scared ishless. They're scared. They're scared to stone, but they're still able to operate those phones. But then this is the weird part. This is the next question I'm going to ask. And I think this is the addressing the elephant in the room. Okay? I'm just going to be real. Captain Obvious here. Captain Obvious. Okay? Real quick. After all this, even when they're having this conversation, why the hell did they not call 911? I think that's the instant question I have for this whole thing. Why was there not a 911 call made? Now, again, I'm not in their shoes. I am not in their shoes. Let me repeat that again. I'm not in their shoes, and nor would I ever want to be in their shoes. But I feel like one of the and we've talked about this ad nauseum years ago, but it comes back. With all due respect, we got to ask the questions. We're not trying to make anybody feel bad, but we're asking the obvious question in the room. Why was there not a 911 call made, dagnabbit? And then they pass out. They wake up the following morning, and then they start having more text messages instead of boom. Again, she saw a person in all black, and she's like, nah, I'm freaking out, man. Real talk. I saw a man in all black. He's wearing a ski mask. What the F? And then Bethany's like, you're serious? There was a guy in all black in the house? Shut up. Really? Yeah, man. It was over his face and everything. I saw him in all black, man. It's not even only on Dylan, too. It's also on Bethany. Why wasn't there a phone call made? 911. Boom. Done. Done. Over. Now, here's the thing. I know back in the day, there was a lot of conversations about the house being a doggone trap house. Yes. Yes, I know. We got to talk about that for a second, okay? I still don't think that it was like a trap house. I think it was a party house for sure. But there was all kinds of theories of like, that this was a trap house and they had, they were moving weight inside the house and blah, blah, blah. And they might have had a bunch of stuff in the house that they didn't want the police to be in there to see. But at the same time, though, if you got an intruder in your home and you hear scuffling, some serious scuffling going on in the house, why not call 911? But then that also goes back to the 911 transcript, right? That don't make no damn sense at all. If they heard bad things happening in the house, why would they say, yeah, she's passed out on the floor because she was drinking last night? That's what she was doing. She was drinking last night. Huh? If you're going, I'm freaking out, man. There's a dude in the house wearing all black in a ski mask. The very next day, you're calling 911 with friends there. And they initially say that that Xana was drinking, so she's passed out. Like I said, respectfully, make that make sense. Make that make sense. If you know for a fact, I'm just putting the pieces together. I'm piecing the puzzle together. The night before, you're going, bruh, dude was in the house in a ski mask. I don't know what's going on. Oh my God. Maybe the conversation started because they heard the scuffle. Both of them. It was that loud. But then the very next day, you're saying that she's passed out on the ground because she's drunk. That just seems a bit weird to me, guys. I'm not sitting here saying sinister, that there's foul play amongst the roommates. Not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that the interaction here tells me that they know for a fact something bad is happening and has happened. And then they wake up the next. You got to remember, she didn't leave her room. Just on Dylan's timeline, she did not leave the room at all. She was terrified. Terrified. Frozen shock phase. She didn't leave or move out of that room until close to noon. So again, if you're that terrified, and then you walk out of that room after seeing somebody decked out in all black wearing a ski mask, and you see your roommate and friend Xana on the floor in the hallway, instantly you're not going, oh, she's just drunk, let me go make her a sandwich. No, you're calling 911 because, again, she's on the floor in the hallway, y'all. And she's unconscious because she's gone. You see what I'm saying? So again, like I said, the timeline is weird. The timeline ain't timeline. And the text messages, oh, they make sense to me. Oh, I just broke it down for y'all. That makes sense to me. The 911 call, though, that happened several hours later, still does not make sense to me at all. Because woman one or woman in here is like, yeah, I'll come. Come on. I'll come. Come on. Let's check on her. Okay. We got to check because we have to. Is she passed out? Someone, I'm assuming maybe it was Hunter. Maybe Hunter's the one going over there and checking on her vitals. Is she passed out? Wait, what's wrong? But it's like, wait a second. You don't see all the red everywhere? You don't notice that she's gone? So that's the thing. Like I said, things are just not computing. I'll tell you what. If the night before, I mean, this is just me. Like I said, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm asking the questions that we're all asking, y'all. Okay? I'm just asking the questions that we're all asking. And we have every right to ask every single question that's on the table. All right? So this is not out of disrespect. But I'll tell you what. If I was in any of these girls' shoes and I heard a whole bunch of scuffling or noise that would spark a conversation in a text message, but before that or even after the scuffle, I run into a man in the house wearing all black and a ski mask, I'm telling you right now, even if I passed out from fear and, succumbing to the chemicals that I consumed from that night, the very next day, doesn't even matter. I don't even need to walk outside and see what happened outside. Okay, finding Xana, I'd still be calling 911 because I'm not playing. What if that guy's still in there eating my Cheerios, watching morning cartoons? I'm sorry. You never know. He could be hiding out in one of the closets, for Christ's sakes. Real talk. He could be in there just chilling, making a cheese quesadilla in your damn freaking kitchen. Real talk. People are crazy. So like I said, that part doesn't make sense. I'd be calling 911 fast. I would have called that night. I don't care how zooted I am. I'm calling 911 because they're not going to be worried about me. They're going to be worried about whoever the perpetrator is. You know what I'm saying? So the text messages make complete sense to me. Yeah, I know it's a quesadilla. Okay, that was a joke, guys. It's a quesadilla. Cabrón. Okay? ¿Dónde está mi pantalones, por favor? But moving on. The text messages make sense. The 911 call does not. It's unfortunate because is it really shock at that point? Seeing your friend in that kind of way, yes, would be scary as hell. Scary and definitely would be shock. But it took so long for a 911 call to be made. The other part too is, did she stay in that room? Did she really stay in that room? Both of them. Did they both really stay in that room till about 11:50 to about noon? Did they really stay in that room the entire time until their friend Hunter and and the other person showed up? I forgot the other initial. That's the other question I have too. Hold on, I'm just trying to see what that name was. It was HJ and somebody else. EA, right? So again, respectfully, did they really stay in that place the entire time, not moving a muscle until Hunter and EA showed up? It's possible. It is. But that's a long time being in the room. And yes, they were past the F out, I'm sure. Because I mean, it was 4:00 something in the morning, right? Almost damn near 5 in the morning when they kind of stopped having conversations via text. But at the same time, as soon as I'm up, as soon as I wake up, I'm up. And then it's kind of like cracking the door open and peering through and is anybody here? You know? And it makes sense. She texts people later. Again, the following morning at 10:23 a.m. She sends out text messages. Please answer. Are you up? Are you up? Sending out to Maddie and to Kaylee. The question, I guess, the next remaining question is, why didn't she send one out to Xana? Text messages, 4:32 a.m. to Gonzalez. Please answer. Then she must have passed out, clearly. She goes to sleep. She wakes up, understandably. At around 10:23, she starts texting them again. And her text messages are to Maddie and Kaylee. Think about that for a second. Where were they found? She says, please answer. Are you up? Are you up? She does not send a text message. Let me just make sure. From my understanding, she does not send a text message to Xana at all. Why is that? Think about it. Think about it. You got to remember, first person that was found, from my understanding, and at least in this 911 call, is Xana. This 911 call did not happen until what time? What time did that call happen? Who got that answer? I'm trying to remember the timeline. The time. Excuse me. Who got that time? The 911 call was made at what, 2 p.m.? Okay, 2 p.m. So hold on. 10:23 a.m. She's sending text messages to Kaylee and Maddie. Where were Katie and Maddie? Dylan did not text Xana. Why? Here's my weird and wild theory. Don't get mad at me. But here's my weird and wild theory. I think she knew Xana was gone. Maybe she had discovered it that morning at 10:23 a.m. She sent out text messages to those two because they were on the 3rd floor. Why would she not text Xana? Why would she not text Xana? I mean, that's my weird and wild theory. I could be wrong. That doesn't mean anything sinister. Let me repeat that. That doesn't mean anything sinister, but it is something very interesting. just as far as the timeline of events. Then a couple hours later, that's when we get a phone call from to 911 saying that Xana is unconscious. Yeah, good point. Hold on. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. I see you guys, what you're saying. Okay. No, because Xana was with her boyfriend. Why would the new girl involve herself? Sure. I mean, you never know. They could have been doing some stuff, whatever. You know what I mean? Clearly, that's not the case. But at the same time, why wouldn't she text the roommate? She was texting him the night before. So why wouldn't she text the roommates at that time too? Right? Regardless if she's with the boyfriend or not. Doesn't matter. There was something happened. Dude was in all black, running around in the house. Ethan's life is at stake too. She was in the hallway on the same floor. So what are the chances of her actually peering out and seeing something and going, oh no, oh no. Kaylee, Maddie, are you guys up? You know what I mean? And that's okay if that happened. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you saw something wrong, if you open up the door and you saw something wrong, I'm sorry. I'm instantly calling 911. I am. So that's what's so interesting about this, right? Now, that's just a thought. It's not something it's not a hill I'm going to stand on and say that's what it is. You know what I mean? But it is something that's very interesting. Okay. I could be wrong. I could be right. Right. But at the same time, that doesn't change anything about what actually happened. That doesn't change Brian Koberger being innocent or not innocent. Right. It is just an interesting timeline. And then the 911 call is very odd. It's very odd. Why would you instantly say she's unconscious? Why would it take you so long to realize that person's gone? Yeah, you can add shock for sure. Put that on the table because that does exist. Some people are like, I can't believe I'm in a weird fever dream. This cannot be real. This cannot be real. And I get that. But when you see a vicious scene like that, I feel like you don't even need to check on her vitals to know that she's gone. And I hate to say it like that, but that, I'm sure, was a gruesome scene. Something that was just so can't even believe it's real type situation. But then at the same time, the fact that there was no realization on Ethan seeing where he is in all that seems a little bit weird. Not saying that that's anything sinister or bad, but it is just unfortunate. And he could have been behind a door. He could have been, I don't know, under bed sheets or something. You know what I mean? God knows how his body was found and how it was, right? But it is for sure something else when you have the floor or when you have the sides of the house leaking red. That says how vicious this scene was. It's bad. But hopefully we get more information here. I'm glad we got some paperwork, some documents out. It gives us a little bit more insight of everything, but it still is echoing the same questions we had back in the day, which is 2 years ago. Oh my God, I can't believe it's been 2 years, right? But one thing's for sure, which they have the trial coming up this summer, which is going to be very interesting as well. And if it's televised, if it's not televised, if it's on camera, we talking about it. We watching it for show. We gonna watch this. All right. But at the same time, still other questions that popped up 2 years ago have still not been answered, even with this. But I am appreciative of them releasing this information. But it still doesn't answer all my questions. But yes, these girls were scared out their wits. And no, I don't believe that they had anything to do with the unalivings of their 4 roommates or their 3 roommates and Xana's boyfriend. I really don't. Okay. But how things transpired. It's just odd. It's just odd. But like I said, more information will come out very, very soon. There's some other things that, even Dylan said in her testimony or, in her interviews and all that seem a bit odd and weird as well. But like I said, it's just interesting. Again, does not mean anything. Doesn't mean that they don't have their man. I still think that I still believe that they have their man, or at least now potentially one of their men. Okay. Potentially one of their men. I still think that he has something to do with this for sure. And the prosecution will have to do everything they can to show proof positive that they have their man. So we'll see how everything transpires. But it looks like the conversation, the Idaho 4 conversation, has revved back up and is back in the forefront of the conversation. So again, when there's more information that comes out, we're going to talk about it. All right. The trial is coming up soon. So get ready for it, because this one has been wild. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being here. It means a lot. And definitely let me know what your thoughts are. How you feeling about this, the text messages and the 911 call. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are, because this one's interesting, guys, and thought-provoking for sure. All right. But before you get going, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush it. Do what it do, baby. All right. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms, please, and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. All right. Check out my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there. Okay. Hit that notification bell on both platforms, because there's a lot of new stuff coming out now, y'all. And we going to get into the nitty gritty. Okay. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And of course, do not forget, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. So go check it out. Okay, guys? But I appreciate all y'all for being here. You guys are incredible. Have a great and incredible night. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. What? And now Court TV shows up. Now you show up. Now you show up. I just finished the show, Court TV. But what's up? What up, Court TV? Yes, new stuff. You late. You an hour and almost 45 minutes late. I know you guys have been steady working. Keep doing what you're doing, okay? We gonna talk soon, all right? But Court TV, y'all give Court TV some love, all right? They in the house one last time, okay? Right as I'm signing out, okay? Fashionably late. But anyway, guys, love you guys. Have a great one, okay? Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Fashionably late. Yeah, you're going to have to watch that replay. Talk to you guys soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.